Okay, so this is Ayaan Hirsi Ali. She's a Somalian woman. She used to be part of Islam. She was in parliament. She was in some type of politics. Now she is a Christian. She is a writer and a human rights activist. Now, and she speaks against the Islam religion and talks about what this religion is all about. And the video, or the title of this video, is called "Our Crisis of Anti-Semitism and Islamism." So basically, anti-Semitism is basically the hatred towards Jewish people. So a perfect example of that is the Holocaust. That's a perfect example of what anti-Semitism is. And also, she speaks about the connection with anti-Semitism and the Islam religion. And I think you'll probably be surprised what this religion is really all about. So we're going to see what she has to say in this video. So let's check it out.
I would like to reiterate the thanks for your time here at the University of Austin. What I wanted to ask you was, you speak of Islamophobia and classes like Black Studies as phony ideological things, but I was curious as to what makes them different. What makes white supremacy different, or like Islamophobia so different from anti-Semitism, as we did import many African slaves that died in the millions, and so did South American countries even more so. We did force Native Americans on forced marches and genocide. There are Muslims being massacred in China today. So what makes anti-Semitism so different?
Two things. One is we have reckoned in America and in Western European countries, we've had a great reckoning with our past. We've addressed the fact that we engaged in slavery, we fought a war, we ended it. We had segregation, we had another major fight, we ended it. We had the civil rights movement. Mm-hmm. We brought women out of, and by the way, in fighting for all of those emancipations, the people who were heading these fights were constantly quoting from the Bible. They were believing Christians and they were inspired by their Christianity. So number one, we had that reckoning. Number two, anti-Semitism is the oldest hatred in humanity, and you find it, believe it or not, across the entire world. Yeah. What made the West different after they nearly exterminated their Jews was to have that honest look in the mirror and reckon with what they did. And then those campaigns to end it. Islamophobia is a made-up word. It's made up by a political movement that wants to exploit and capitalize on white guilt to achieve its end goal, which is the revival of the caliphate. And the revival of the caliphate is to convert all of us into Islam, whether we like it or not. Those of us who refuse to do that, we will surely be beheaded. I'm sure I'm on top. And that is their end goal. And so they're exploiting these Western part of subversion. This is just a guest speech, but I wish that at some point, someone here could start a lecture series on subversion, on active measures, on asymmetric warfare. That would get you interested in what it is that the Islamists are doing and how they've become so successful against these great nations with this incredible military and economic structures, and yet the Islamists are winning. Islam is spreading. They're doing better today than they were doing in 2001 after they hit us and we invaded Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. They've got Afghanistan back. They have Iraq back. They have Syria. And these Muslim governments are they're shaking in their boots. They're worried about what could happen to them because of the Islamist movement, and that's why the Islamist movement came here. And they're exploiting principles like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, and so on. And of course, these progressive movements that we have here, we've got to understand that, and we've got to become really creative in finding a way of preserving our principles. I don't want to give up on the freedom of speech. Yeah. But on the other hand, on beating the Islamists at their game.
Is there room for compromise between principles?
No. Nope. You can't
If
compromise.
I want to kill you and behead you, unless you convert to the religion I dictate, what would be the place of compromise?
There is no compromise.
Well, I would not mind converting, as I myself am an agnostic, so have no faith.
Wow.
Have no established faith. However, I understand that some people would not share that vision. So,
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just because he has no belief. Well, he said he's agnostic, so that means he believes there's something out there. He just doesn't know what it is. Could be a god, could be this type of higher power. He doesn't know what it actually is. But for someone who has really no foundational belief on God, and then someone coming to invade his country and telling him either you convert to our religion or lose your head, and he's just like, okay, yeah, sure, I don't mind, you know. But that thing is, there's a lot of people that have that mindset. Not just this guy, even though he said there's some people that wouldn't, which I wouldn't. I'm probably gonna lose my head. But it's crazy because a lot of the young people have this mindset. You know, the ones that are in college, universities. You see them, you know, when they're protesting for free Palestine and the No Kings protest and all these other different protests have been going on, man. Those are the types of people that are willing to submit to the Sharia law, you know, to the Islam religion. And it's sad. And she's trying to tell them, like, this is not good. It's not good. If you allow this into your country, it's going to destroy it. But it's just sad to see a young man like this just willing to be like, okay, yeah, sure, no, that's no problem. I don't have no really strong belief, so I'll believe whatever you want me to believe. It's really sad.
Let's play with this thought for a while. There's a time and a place for everything. And for some of the people, say in places like Africa, we don't talk about this, but Islamists are active in Africa and violently so.
Right, Nigeria. Remember Nigeria?
If you're a Christian in Egypt or a Hindu in parts of Pakistan, and you have someone looking at you and saying, you'll either lose your head or you convert to Islam, it makes sense to consider converting to Islam. But here today, for us to have the attitude of, well, we'll see what happens, and if we get to that point, I'll just convert, I will say, are you sure? Maybe you want to get educated on what would happen once you convert.
Yeah.
What would your life be like, and the life of your sisters and women? What would they do to the Jews? He has said, this man, I repeat it, he said they're bacteria and they're microbes. And in the video that I showed you, they made it very clear it has nothing to do with Palestine. It has everything to do with them being Jewish. So they are going to annihilate the Jews. Will you stand by and watch that?
Yeah. You know what? Just to get a little more context of what she's talking about, you got to see this video. This video is crazy on the mindset of the Islam religion. All right, let's check this out real quick. Okay, so this video right here she's about to show you is it's pretty wild. Okay, so just be prepared what you're about to everybody hear from these people, man.
Of time, I want to move on. And before I move on, I want to give you a taste of the Islamist-driven hatred of Jews. Please play the video.
لأنهم هم سارقون هم معتدون والسارق والمعتدي الذي أخذ مالا بغير حق أو أرضا بغير حق يظل في اضطراب نفسي واضطراب في وجداني أنه أخذ شيئا واعتدى عليه. هم يريدوا أن يثبتوا للعالم، أن يثبتوا للواقع الدولي والإقليمي أنهم أصحاب حق. هم جرثومة غريبة، جرثومة وميكروب لا مثيل له في الوجود. والله مش أنا الذي أقول، القرآن الكريم وصفهم بأنهم لا يوجد لهم مثيل. لتجدن أشد الناس عداوة للذين آمنوا اليهود. يهلك هيك قرفة ناس لا عندهم لا دين ولا مبدأ ولا ضمير ولا. أنا أستنكر ممن يؤمن بالتطبيع معهم، ممن يؤمن بالجلوس معهم، ممن يؤمن أن هؤلاء بشر ليسوا بشر وليسوا أناس وليسوا لا بذوات دين ولا ضمير ولا أخلاق.
You see what he said right there? He said it's in their Quran to annihilate the Jewish people, to annihilate Israel. It's in their Quran. So if anybody tells you that Islam, the religion is peaceful, yeah, don't believe it, because it literally says in there to destroy the infidels, which basically are Jewish people, and then anybody who doesn't believe in Allah. So you got to be careful with these people, man. This religion is dangerous.
وإحنا كراهيتنا أو كرهنا لليهود من منطلق عقيدة. القرآن هو اللي بيدعونا إن إحنا نكرههم وما نحبهم. كرهنا لليهود.
Look at that. Our hatred of the Jews is based upon our faith. Straight up right there. Not even trying to hide the fact, because usually when I see like debates between Christians and Muslims and they talk about the religion, they never discuss this part. They'll leave this out because they don't want to seem as, like a religion of hatred, right? But it literally is based on their faith. And the other guy said whoever is aligned with the Jewish people, like America is, what's going on with Iran and Israel, and we're involved to America. If we're on the Israel side, I mean, they look at us just the same. They have that same hatred towards us. That's why they say they know death to America and all that, because we align with Israel. It's really crazy. That's why that's the complete difference between Christianity and Islam. Muhammad or Allah, whoever, says to kill your enemies. It's okay. Kill your enemies. Jesus said to love your enemies and bless those who curse you. Complete difference. Complete difference. So let's continue.
لو أن اليهود تركوا لنا فلسطين خلاص يبقوا حبايبنا؟ لا طبعا، عمرهم ما هيبقوا حبايبنا إطلاقا. عقيدتك في اليهود واحد انهم كفار، اثنين انهم اعداء، مش اعداء عشان يحتلوا فلسطين، وانما هم اعداء ولو لم يحتلوا شيئا. نحن نعادي.
Wait, you hear what that guy said? He said they're not enemies because they occupy Palestine. This whole thing, free Palestine. You see these Nimrods with those signs, the liberals carry those signs and the free Palestine. But he's saying it doesn't even matter if Palestine was free, if they did free Palestine, supposedly if they did free it. But he said it wouldn't matter. It's not because of Palestine why we're enemies. He's like, they're enemies because they're Jewish. The Quran tells us to hate them. And even if they left, we will still hate them. We will still destroy them, no matter what. So, this is why she mentioned earlier you really need to educate yourself on what's happening. If, right now what's going on in New York with their new mayor, and they're allowing all this, Sharia law to take place over there. I'm not sure if it's taking place or it looks like it's in the process going that way. But this is important to see because this can easily happen to us. I'm from Southern California, and it's pretty liberal state over here, just like New York. What's happening over there can easily happen over here, if we allow it. But in order to see what it's like, you have to see it for yourself. Because if you tell people that Islam is is a hateful religion, most people won't even pay attention. They literally have to see it for themselves. You have to open your eyes to the truth. But let's see what this guy has to say.
نحن نعادي يهود حتى ولو أعادوا إلينا فلسطين لأنهم كفار.
هؤلاء هم اليهود باختصار، وإن لنا عندهم نحن المسلمين لثأرا لا والله لن ينقضي إلا باستئصالهم بإذن الله تعالى، لأنهم حاولوا ابتداء قتل نبينا صلى الله عليه وسلم مرات. أعداء المسلمين بعد إبليس هم اليهود. من الذي قال ذلك؟ الله.
How much of that did you catch? It's
You see that? He said, "Who are the enemies after Satan or before Satan is the Jews." I mean, the first guy said they're like a bacteria. You know, he was like they're not even humans. I mean, it really it's a crazy religion. It really is. And it turns out it's a false religion, and it's a dangerous religion because it's the fastest growing religion.
that I showed you. They made it very clear it has nothing to do with Palestine. It has everything to do with them being Jewish. So they are going to annihilate the Jews. Will you stand by and watch that? Maybe I should give introduction to Islam and Islamism as a lecture series, and once you understand what it's all about, you might develop a backbone.
I would look forward to that greatly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
She's right. When it comes to this stuff, we really need to develop a backbone. We really have to pay attention and make sure these guys don't take over our country, which is built on the Judeo-Christian ethic here in America. That's built on Christianity, and we pray that it stays that way. It doesn't fall into that religion, which is if it does happen, I pray it doesn't, but if it does, it's not going to be good for us. It's not going to be good for women, that's for sure, because they're treated a lot more differently than women here in America. You know, they're not going to be able to wear their outfits like they like to wear. They're going to be put on those, you know, that cover that they have to cover up, and if they don't listen, they get beaten, which is true. I'm not lying, man. That's how it is. That's how they treat them over there. And yeah, it's crazy, really. So this is happening in New York City. This was last month. This is their I guess call it a prayer right there in Times Square, New York City.
أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم أكبر الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده ربنا ولك الحمد الله أكبر الله ولك الحمد الله أكبر الله
Listen, I'm not taking nobody serious.
الأحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله أكبر سمع الله لمن حمده ربنا. Surah, I'm going to say an ayah, and whoever knows the next ayah says the next ayah, okay? But everybody should know this one. You ready? Alright.
Yeah, I guess that guy right there, he's the one that organized this whole event. Guy right here in the white hat. Yeah, that's the guy who organized this whole thing.
من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم.
These are the extremist far-right versions of the Christians. This isn't what Christianity teaches you. What did Christianity teach you? Let me teach you. Let me show you something. Come and bring your cheek over here so I can slap it and you can turn the other cheek.
To the city of New York, who provided another permit. Another time, they haven't shut me down yet. We're still going strong, alhamdulillah. And New York City Department of for buildings, and NYPD, they're just over here supporting us, and we're looking forward to more years of success.
To be able to come here, feed people, especially if anyone is homeless.
Oh, don't scare them, brothers. Relax. They're over here on purpose to be like, oh my God. Who's seen those videos where they're like, oh my God, the Muslims are taking over New York City? You seen those? You seen those? Let them know that we are taking over New York City.
So that's a lot for what the Muslims want to do. Is basically they want to bring the whole world under the Islam dominion. That's basically the goal. They don't view Jewish people as human beings. They want to completely annihilate them. They're the most hated when it comes between Israel and Islam. They're number 2, as the guy said. We hate Satan, and then after that is the Jews. So, and since America, we side with them, they hate us just as much. But I think it was important to show this so people can, open their eyes to the truth. And as Christians, we need to pray that this doesn't take over. This doesn't happen to our country. But with that being said, God bless you guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.